Adventures of a Dutch fish farmer in Nigeria. Recording by Dominic, Iyodo. Prologue. In 1960, I was born as the last born of a family consisting of my father, mother, brother and sister. I was a Sunday child, naughty, active and a bit spoiled too. My daddy was a civil servant in the forestry and my mother was full-time housewife. A mainstream family with a middle-class income. Nothing special about us. My sister, brother and I went to school as all kids do in the Netherlands. On Sundays, we had family visits to our uncles and aunts and played with our nephews and nieces. After school, I played soccer almost daily, and once a year my parents planned a holiday to the south of Europe. My love for the forest and nature was developed early because I followed my daddy as much as I could to his work in the forest. As young as 14 years old, I was already able to work in the forest during holidays. My daddy, however, had a different view at the forest than I had. He always counted the number of trees and the value of the harvested wood, while I was more interested in the natural habitat, the animals living in the forest, the smell of the pine trees, needles, and the beauty of the forest. At a certain point, my father was overworked, and the family doctor advised him to go sport fishing. Nowadays, we would say that my father had a burnout. He followed the family doctor's instructions, and I went along fishing with him. My brother and sister were not interested. From this moment on, my love for fish and water started to develop, and it never ceased growing since. My sister, brother, and I already had our dreams for the future, which my parents encouraged. My sister wanted to become a doctor. My brother was not sure about his passion yet, but both of them studied at the highest level at secondary school, which made my parents proud. I, on the other hand, was a very slow starter. I went through a much slower education level. My parents always teased me that I would become my sister's and brother's gardener. My brother and sister eventually pursued their dreams. They both went to the university and got good jobs. My sister became a doctor, and my brother studied economics and started working in the banking sector. My road was longer, but it was my road. Therefore, I didn't get lost, and I also pursued my dreams. I went to university and became a fish farmer. Against mainstream, I started a little fish farm in 1984, married in the shortest period of time, and struggled for more than 10 years to make ends meet. But I became successful eventually. During that success period, I assumed that I could predict my future when I would turn 30 in the year 2000. I have my career on track and it will continue like this till I retire. However, my thoughts about the future could be compared with trying to forecast the weather without any knowledge about weather forecasting at all. You will end up predicting the same weather as today. In the year 2000, the millennium, I was not only a successful fish farmer, but also building fish farms in the Netherlands and abroad. I traveled to remote places and met interesting people. But at the end of the project, I always came home. I considered myself a man of the world, but still very grounded in the Netherlands. I believe that in 2020, I would have saved enough money to reduce my workload or even retire and have time to do other things. One day, my wife asked, "What do you want to do when you retire?" And my answer was a shocking revelation to both of us, because she had other plans than I had. I wanted to distill alcohol, brew beer, raise ravens or parrots, and read poems with my friend Theo Brockmans. My wife, however, wanted to travel and spend time together working in the forest and visiting friends and families. It was Theo who got me thinking about the following wisdom. In life, you always regret the things you haven't done but wanted to do, and you hardly regret the things you have done, even when they turn out wrong. The burden of knowing that you should have tried something new while it is too late now, because you are too old or missed the boat, will hurt you mentally and keep you regretting. Predicting my life at the age of 40 by extrapolating the life I had before was a big mistake. This book tells you about this. Africa, in particular Nigeria, has played a crucial part in trying to live my life according to these words of wisdom.